Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Today I am going to talk about 14 tips on increasing the impact of our scientific research. यानी साइंसी तहकीक को मौसर बनाने और इसके असरात को बढ़ाने से मुतालिक चंद तजावीज़ात. So basically the first tip is publish in top quality scientific journals. When you try to publish in top quality scientific journals, it means you are conducting top quality research. Your research has some technical worth. Your research has an impact. And of course, when you are targeting top quality scientific journals, your research will benefit for the humankind, and you may be opening new horizon of research, and you may be addressing real world problem. Now, in order to find top quality scientific journal, you need to look at journal citation report and look at your particular specific field, and then try to target top 10 or top 15 high quality scientific journals in your domain. Tip number 2 is promote and communicate your research. So this tip is very effective. So you need to be active in education and public engagement. And this education and public engagement (EPE) in Europe, it's an essential requirement for researchers and scientists. And there is a particular head of funding allocated for this. So try to share your research to the public, try to give presentation, try to write columns and clearly explain in easy words your research, make your public profile updated, and try to, whatever research you do, try to update your personal web page, your LinkedIn page, Twitter page, so that, you gain some more visibility. Tip number 3, get the most out of your research. For example, if you have an idea or piece of work, try to get most out of it by publishing it as a conference paper, and then adding more contribution to it and publish it as a journal paper, and then also look for magazine article, book or newsletter. So if you are particularly working on any specific problem, try to disseminate it as well. It's sometimes we just publish a single conference paper. Out of that paper, we do not go into further depth. So the idea is here is that try to go into further depth of your problem and try to make the most out of it. Tip number 4, increase your capacity by reading. When you target top ranked journals, you try to read papers published in those journals. So when you read it from the top ranked journals, somehow you are increasing your capacity. We have this garbage in, garbage out GIGO phenomena. So if we read from low quality journals, our capacity will not develop. So in order to increase the capacity, try to read from top quality journals. Tip number 5, focus is required. You need to focus on your research problem, make a list of top ranked journals in your field of research, and then shortlist few targeted journals, let's say 10 top ranked journals in your field, and then try to make your habit to read from it and to publish in those journals. Tip number 6, quality work is more important than quantity. We have a saying, परवाज है दोनों की इसी एक जहां में, शाही का जहां और करगिस का जहां और. So the vulture, gid in Urdu, and the eagle, baaz in Urdu, soar in the same air, but in worlds apart. Means ये गिद्ध होता है और शाहीन होता है, बाज होता है, ये दोनों इसी फजा में उड़ रहे होते हैं, मगर दोनों का जो विजन है वो अलग अलग होता है. Similarly, these two different kinds of birds, vulture and eagle, they are flying in the same sky, but both have a different vision. So we need to become like an eagle in our research. We need to focus on quality work. Tip number 7, every journal has its own style in terms of scientific contribution, write-up, page limit, and depth. So we need to adopt our contribution to that style. So when you focus on let's say 5 to 10 top ranked journals, you will then understand their way of publication, what type of contribution they accept, what type of research problems are normally published in those journals. So we need to also adopt to those journals. Tip number 8, observe top authors of the journal. In your specific field of research, try to see, let's say there is a journal IEEE Transactions on Communication, and if you are working in communication, see who are the top authors that are publishing in that journal. So when you observe those authors, you will understand how they formulate the problem, what type of contribution they are making, how they mathematically formulate the real world research problems, and how they handle the research problem and propose a solution. So similarly, when you observe those top authors, you will get some understanding. Tip number 9, follow the technological trends. Sometimes if we are focusing on some old topics, we may not get a lot of attention in the scientific community. So we need to understand what are the recent technological trends, and fortunately we have uh, uh, IEEE Communication Society and IEEE Computer Society both issues every year the list of top 10 technological trends. Here I'm mentioning year 2020 top technological trends by both the Communication Society and Computer Society. As you can see, they are identifying few of the areas such as blockchain, quantum computing, terahertz communication, federated learning, massive MIMO, metamaterial, meta surfaces. So these are few of the technological trends. So if we focus on any of these topics and try to address real world problem in those domains, that will create a big difference. Tip number 10, get technical peer review from top scientists. Rejection is often, don't give up. We say in Urdu, झपटना पलटना पलट कर झपटना लहू गर्म रखने का है एक बहाना. So basically, when you submit your papers to top ranked journals, you get technical feedback, very strong technical feedback. So if your paper is rejected, don't worry. Try to take those comments as positive and try to address those comments. And it may take some time, but at the end of the day, you will have a very strong contribution in the field. Tip number 11, be patient. A long time in peer review process is normal in top ranked journals, and it may vary from 1 to 1.5 years from submission to acceptance, although some journals are trying to reduce it. But in general, we can say that if we are targeting top quality journals, we have to be patient. So be patient. Tip number 12, involve with international scientific community. So in your research area, try to show your presence by participating in special issues, become the part of the editorial board, get yourself involved in special interest groups and become the technical program committee members of top conferences. This will further open new doors for you to interact with the international scientific community. Tip number 13 is that as soon as you have something ready to disseminate, try to disseminate it early. Means, for example, there are repositories available. For example, archives are available where you can upload your article as soon as it is ready. You can also share the preprint of your articles on university library systems as well. And finally, tip number 14 is that follow ethical practices in scientific research. Whatever you do, scientific community knows. So always care about your professional reputation and never compromise on principles.